Welcome to Talk Time. Today's Talk Time, God. Well, this might be a several-parter because there's a lot to talk about. But this is going to be in reference to the other videos I have made. This is a series of Talk Times leading up to this. I think we have in our society, in our religions, made this wonderful creator into something so inaccessible that people feel they have no other choice but to give up on the idea. And I say this because we have a lot of misunderstandings about this wonderful creator who has made everything. A long time ago, I made several videos with you are special, you are wonderful. One of them said you are created. Somebody made you. Yeah, your parents. But more than that, somebody made us. And that somebody is who we call God. Everything else is just us trying to even begin to understand that. To look at the universe and say, oh yeah, we understand that, is stupid, in my opinion. Now, science tries to do that. It tries to understand the universe, and it does so with some success. But then there comes a point, especially when you get into the origins of the universe, when science begins to break down into theory. And we stop having science and we begin to have philosophy. There was this program, I think it was on Nova, where they got a bunch of scientists together and began to talk about the Big Bang Theory and string theory and all these other theories that they have. And I use the word theory because that's all it is. A theory is something in science that cannot be proven yet. By the way, evolution is still called a theory. Just having a little jab in there. Yeah, I don't like evolution. Although I do agree that there are certain brands of evolution, in the sense of one dog, if you breed it a certain way, it can become a poodle, and if you breed it a different way, it can become a pit bull, but it's still a dog. Alright, that's a different subject. My point is, when you get into the origin of the universe, all these scientists kept talking about creation. What made the universe begin? And the idea was they were trying to avoid God. They were trying to explain the universe in a natural way. And what they came up with was very close to what intelligent design is trying to do. And that is to basically say that there was an intelligent force, but it wasn't God. Which is why, although intelligent design has been used to try to promote God, I'm not in favor of intelligent design as a whole. It's not a science, it's a way of looking at things, but it's, you know, my opinion of it has changed back and forth. The more I learn about it, the more I think it's not a great idea, because it really doesn't lead necessarily logically to God. What these scientists did say in this program was essentially they got into all these theories. They said Big Bang, string theory, and they said, okay, so there's a machine that creates all these universes, essentially, and it spits out all these, you know, there wasn't a machine per sort, but there was some sort of natural explanation that made universes on a regular basis, and ours was one of many possible universes, and ours just happened to have life. Now, they explain it in this way because when there is, because if you use random factor to create life, if you say there's a billion universes or a million zillion, you know, some insane Googleplex number, of universes, and in one of them life happened to exist, and in one of those ones that where life happened to exist, we happen to exist. The other ones might have life, they might not, blah 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 blah. Anyways, the conclusion that the scientists made at the end was, well, if that's true, then in one of those universes it's conceivable that they'd be more advanced than us, and they could make this computer program that's so sophisticated that it could imitate life, and that life that's imitated in that computer program could indeed be our universe as far as we know it. And they related this, they ended on this note because they had related everything that they were talking about to this other computer program that somebody here on Earth has made, that this computer program has a set of rules to it, and these little bits float around on the screen, and then they join other bits, and then they make little patterns, and they move back and forth, and they call this program life. They call it the program of life. And they say, well, see, this kind of shows how, like, life is, because there's certain rules, like if this one's next to this one, it dies, and if this one's next to this one, then it reproduces, and it makes all these little cool patterns. So based on that, if there was an advanced enough civilization, they could have a computer powerful enough to create our universe in a simulation. Well, the Matrix tried to have that sort of reality. The 13th floor also tried to kind of have that reality. But both of them point to a creator, but a naturalistic creator. Somebody that is inevitably, ultimately human. And then the scientist also said something at the end that was like, but this isn't any good because it's not provable. So what was the point of the whole program? I mean, really, the whole thing was to try to explain the origin of the universe, and you say, but the whole thing isn't even provable, but he seems satisfied that it could be provable to a naturalistic explanation. But he missed the big picture. Who created the machine that created all these universes? If you're implying that there must be a creator, then you have to keep going back if there's multiple creators. That's why one creator is a more logical thought process. Eventually, there has to be one that created many, in other words. So eventually, if you go back far enough, you will find the creator of all creators. But that's not what the God that I believe in is about. The God I believe in is one, and has always been one, and will always be one. Not he created creators that created stuff, although we're fully capable of creating things ourselves, but we can't create something out of nothing, but God can. And we will never find a natural explanation for how the universe came to be, because there is no natural explanation. There's a natural process, but there's no explanation of how it originally started. There's only a supernatural explanation. Everything else is theory. So we have theories that there might be a naturalistic explanation, but even those give way to a creator being involved. So with that in mind, I think actually that pretty much does conclude what I wanted to say. Because when I think about God, I think about a creator that's beyond imagination, and one that I want to know, and one that I'm trying to get to know every day of my life. If you don't want to know that creator, that's your choice, and you're right. I feel sorry for you because I think you're missing out on an aspect of life that's out there. To ignore the spiritual realm seems like foolishness to me, but that's my opinion. Until next time, have faith. Peace out.